good. Your microphone's at your stomach. You're okay
I know,
with that? All right. Well,
it won't come up.
Welcome to Every Day's a Bonus. We're so glad you guys have joined us yet again. Thanks for turning on the radio, podcast, video. If you're watching, if you're listening, it's so great to have you. I'm Brent MOXEY, one of the hosts here, joined by, of course,
Kennkington.
Ken, there he is, if you can even hear him. And there's Logan, Lucky over there. There he is, pointing at you guys in his Salt Life Dry Fit shirt.
Oh yeah.
So glad you guys. If you're not watching us, we each have different shirts on each time, which is great.
Where is Bryce Canyon?
Man, over in, so if you go over to the west, right? We went to the Grand Canyon. We went to Zion National Park. This is all for Jagger's kind of senior trip.
Okay.
The family went out there. And Bryce Canyon was like this place people kept saying, you got to go. You got to go to Bryce Canyon.
Never heard of it.
It's these like one of these rock formations I think it's called Thor, but it's all these like red rock type raised
Is that
formations.
like the balancing
you can
one?
Hike through. Yeah, you can
you're
kind
like,
of see it
how
right
is
here.
it? Yeah.
That's it.
That's what
It looks
gave it
like
away.
the middle finger, but it's not.
my
That is
guess.
actually just a rock formation.
No, it's just the ring finger.
But it is beautiful. It's this one, the
Yeah.
ring,
Yeah.
the black ring right here. Not my gold ring because my gold has already shrunk. We've decided that gold does shrink as you get older, right?
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
decided that, right? It's
And clothes shrink.
the pores,
as well.
clothes shrink as well as we're getting
If
older.
you shower with your wedding ring, you might have to get it stretched out eventually because it shrinks.
I'm about to do my third resizing. Although we did talk before we got started here. I'm on to my first wedding ring was lost in the first year of marriage in a lake. I was with my wife. I was water skiing. It got pulled off in Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. Had to get my second wedding ring. That's the one that shrunk somehow. And so now I'm onto my rubber ring that will stretch with my body as it stretches. But you said you're on your OG ring.
I got the OG, but in the same category though, my wife, we went on this couples retreat and I'm playing golf. She's shopping with friends and she realizes this is 6 months into our marriage. She looks down and hers is not there.
Her wedding ring?
Her fingers had shrunk a little bit that day and she has no idea where it went. So
What?
I had worked 6 months to buy that ring and it's no
6
longer.
months
So
of
she's
work.
on her second and she's done really well with that one.
Wow.
But this is the OG. This is the
one.
original.
Can you get it off if you were to try to take it
absolutely.
off? No problem.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes the gold shrinks, sometimes fingers shrink.
Exactly.
There's
So,
a
yeah.
lot of that happening like that. That's amazing. My father-in-law, I call him Big Frank because he's tall.
He's big.
And but he's not that tall, but he's tall enough. He's taller than me. So Big Frank. His person's brother is Little Frank.
Okay.
He's taller than Big Frank now, but the names are already set. Anyway, he cannot get his ring off. It would have to be cut. Which it gives me claustrophobia seeing it. I'm like, how I would if I could not get my ring off.
Yeah.
I would.
Wig me
I
out.
don't know what I would do. What about you? Are you in OG?
I'm on the original and
ring.
It matches. I've got this tattoo around my forearm that's 3 lines, and the ring has the same 3 lines.
3 lines.
Wow.
Whoa.
pretty cool.
It's like you planned it.
We saw it, and Mallory was like, "That's obviously the one.
That's
it
the
matches
one.
your tattoo."
Will you be the one? It is. Wow. Tattoo first, wedding ring later.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
I like that. Now, Skylar, who's behind the cameras over there, he was telling us how he just this past week lost his wedding ring while he's helping at a sports and art camp we did.
So mine's gold. Yours is elastic or whatever that is.
Mine's gold.
Yours is gold, and yours was tungsten.
And he said
Tungsten.
something scary to us. You remember that? Skylar told us that
You can't.
whatever metal is, you cannot cut it off. There's no
You
way to
have
cut
to
it.
cut off your finger.
Yeah, so he cut his finger off during Rocket Blast or something. I don't know what it was at. Our 3-fingered friend over here. No, but tungsten. I don't even know what kind of metal
He cut
that
off
is.
2 fingers.
But I feel like we should make clothes out of tungsten or something. Like, because then
It'd never wear out.
they would never wear out. It wouldn't stretch. We might get smaller. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, none of this is what the episode's about. But
that's how we roll.
These are the talking things we talk about before we get started.
Right.
Brought you in on this thing. So it's been a little bit, I feel like, since we all have seen each other, right? Yeah. We've all been in 100 different directions, traveling and speaking and doing the things. And so what if we just spent the next few minutes with our audience figuring out kind of where we're all at right now? It's sort of the summertime. The heat in Georgia is thick and the humidity is high, but you've not necessarily been in Georgia, Ken. Where have you been the last few weeks?
Oh gosh, huge variety. I did a show for a group up in Rock Hill, South North Carolina. It's right on the line. On
South
the way,
North
Not too
Carolina.
far.
I stopped in Blackshear. I literally driving down the road. I'm hungry. I'm like, restaurants, food. And this
He pulled over and
Iron,
then typed in his phone.
Iron
is what he
City
means.
Barbecue.
Iron City Barbecue.
And it's kind
Co.
of this little downtown, and it's very little, and not all the shops have anybody in them, but this cool little barbecue place.
Very
And
cool.
Loved it. And I'm like, I need your t-shirt. So
That's
I got
awesome.
that. That was awesome.
Will you be giving that shirt away to an audience member? So
yes.
you
And
won't have that shirt.
I'm going to
anymore.
get a silver Sharpie and do that.
I have a
Someone
silver
wants the
Sharpie.
Master's quarter zip.
Yeah, that wasn't a t-shirt. Yeah, that was a gift. So I'm not giving the Masters.
Speaking of
course.
silver Sharpie, I have to interject here.
Yes.
Just 2 weeks ago,
2.
just 2 weeks ago, I needed our daughter. She's home from college. I needed her to help write something out for me. So I had the silver Sharpie. She was writing it, and I was about to go to church, I do believe. I think that's where it was. The silver Sharpie wasn't working anymore. So she's like, I guess we need a new one. So I pulled it out. You know, I had the Sharpie. Here's the end of it, right? And I'm kind of doing that thing where you push the ink down. And while I'm doing that, have I told you guys this?
No.
While I'm doing that, the silver ink starts shooting all over our wood floors.
Oh.
Pants. It's getting all over. Oh, I know what it was. It was a graduation. You know, you put the graduation envelopes. Jagger just graduated from high school a little bit ago, and she was writing the names of the boys that all had the party together. It's splattering all over their graduation caps. This
you
is
just kept
silver
slinging it.
Sharpie ink. It's going. And I'm sitting there like, what have I done? Like, it's everywhere. It's on the wood. This is a true story just a few weeks ago. So anyway, careful with that silver Sharpie. You can borrow ours, but if you start flinging the ink out of that thing, it will shoot everywhere, splatter everywhere. We're hands and knees trying
I'm
to
going
get
to
it off the
start doing
ground.
that after shows. Just take that and people, hey, Mr. Kenn, can you sign this? Yes, I can. Just stand
Instead
there.
of holy water, I've got my silver Sharpie ink. Take it. Take all of that.
Why do you have that
Sounds like
all
a
over you?
typical dinner at my house. My daughter's just throwing their food.
Give her a Sharpie. See what happens. You
I don't
never know.
like this.
Yeah. I don't know if it happens with a black Sharpie, but a silver one, careful with that, Ken. So
Careful with
you're giving
silver.
that shirt away. That's great. And so then you,
Yeah, so I
South
mean, I've done
Carolina,
a couple
North Carolina.
shoes. Heather and I, we're going to celebrate our 30th anniversary here in a couple of
30
weeks,
years.
month and a half.
That's awesome.
So, but we were like, let's do a weekend cruise, literally almost last minute. And we went on a cruise, the second largest cruise ship in the world. That was super fun
Out
and cool.
of Cape Canaveral.
Yes.
The name of the ship.
Oh gosh, do you know it?
Is it a Carnival cruise line?
No.
It's a Royal Caribbean.
Yes, it is.
Icon of the Sea.
Icon of the Sea.
Did you see that? Did you see me rattle them through all those
That was the
I've
biggest
never
one.
been on
We
a
were on the
cruise,
second
nor do I know
largest.
their names.
Which is what?
The Utopia.
Utopia
of the seas.
Okay. Ooh,
And
was
they got
it
another
awesome?
one even bigger coming out this summer called the Star of the Seas.
Wow.
But it was just, it was stunning. There's, I mean, just all kinds of cool stuff. They've got a zip line across the atrium that's 12 decks high.
That's
and
cool.
They got a putt-putt course, 3 pickleball courts.
Ooh, you
all
guys love
restaurants.
pickleball. You and your wife, did you play
So we played
pickleball?
every day.
That's awesome.
So it was cool.
You met other pickleball couples?
We did in the middle
you
of the
do the
Gulf of
zip line?
Mexico.
Did you do the zip line?
I didn't this time, but I
Okay.
would next time. Just line was too long.
Okay.
Too many other.
I'm
cool
kinda
things.
scared of
There's an
heights.
ice skating rink on this.
Oh, me too. The
Yeah,
12-story atrium freaked me out. So I'm guessing there's balconies on every level. And
Not all of them, but there's windows. But
Ken,
that was cool. And then
we did. Your stories inspire me. We were on a cruise like 2 months ago, and one of the zip line piece. It wasn't zip line. I guess you were hanging from a rope, sliding. It was a ropes course on top of this cruise ship.
Okay.
And the thing where you're sliding goes over the water.
yeah,
That's scary.
that's pretty cool.
And I'm already scared of heights, but heights in the middle of the ocean over that, like, and it's just a little plastic.
like it curls out and then comes back onto the ship.
Yes.
Oh, so you're way up
That's
high
freaky.
over the water.
Yeah,
I'm
it's scary.
picturing like 20 feet above the water. I'm like, well, if you fall, you land in the
We're
water.
on the top of the ship, of the highest point of the ship, looking down.
Yeah,
from the ship.
that would be
Sorry, Ken.
painful.
Give me more things. I'm excited about your trips. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I mean that. And I've had some other shows and early mornings, late mornings, early flights.
What's the farthest away you've gone? Not on a cruise, but on a show.
Let's see. I go to Colorado this week. Ever
Okay.
or
No, just recently.
recently?
Colorado's far.
Florida, Texas.
Okay.
God, I've forgotten. It
Show
all
me
runs
state.
together. My brain only works in about a 2-week window where I've been, where I'm going. I'll be in Colorado, then Asheville, and then south.
North Carolina. Okay. All over the place then. And then south. I'll go south.
Souther.
I'm a bird. That's what I
Souther than
do.
Asheville.
Now, what kills
South
me,
for the
though, is
winter.
because I know that you've just gotten done with a couple. One was a youth conference, and the other one was you run Surge, this massive kids. How many kids come to Surge? And for those who don't have any idea what I'm talking about,
Sure.
So you're a children's pastor.
Yep.
And this is ages.
So this will be we've had 2 camps this summer. We've had our middle school, high school camp. We take down to Daytona.
Okay.
And about 1,000 leaders, students, all the things that go down there on charter buses.
And what part do you do in that?
That one I am doing like stage games, kind of icebreaker things, getting the kids excited and hyped up and all that about.
So you're just yourself.
Oh, wait.
I was going to say, that's an odd fit.
Come to Florida and play games with us. All right. So, but 1,000 kids out there trying to keep them engaged and fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of kids have never been. And so kind of for me, I see it as a huge benefit because it's like icebreaker. It gets a chance for them to kind of let down their guard and enjoy like the communicators that night. They're going to speak or the worship experience and all that.
They don't know this either, but I've had you do that. The last filming I did, I said, just go out and engage the audience.
Oh, it was so funny.
My word.
Oh my gosh.
That was better than any opening act I've ever had.
What my favorite is your direction on that. All right, Ken, what do you want tonight? Just go out there and talk for 15 minutes. Anything in particular?
No, because I know you're going to be you. And I'm like,
funny.
It was even better than I expected.
Well,
it was amazing.
That's incredible.
But the one I want you to tell them about is Surge, though, because that's the one you're over. How many kids are there? And it's like 4 or 5 nights or something.
Yeah, so it's 5 nights, and it's our elementary sports and arts camp. And so it is for our community. We invite people that aren't at the church, are at the church. We have a certain number of spots, and it sells out, and that's a great problem to have. But they can choose one of 33 different sport or arts.
That's
incredible. You get to do that all week.
And so how many total kids?
So kids were 1,359 kids. So 1,359 kids.
700 leaders?
At 938 leaders that come in that do security, small group leader, assistants, track leaders,
snacks,
parking, everything.
Across 2 campuses, Ken.
We are campuses, charter buses taking the kids back and forth to do, So BMX and, what is it? Like Kid versus Wild, teaching them to survive in the wild, and there's Ninja Warrior and dodgeball and just
graduation,
master, woodworking,
real masters.
You wrestle an alligator.
Snack attack.
Will you survive? Snack attack. That's
She
right.
made crazy snacks every night. A waffle taco she was excited about. A car with a peep driving the car, and everything's edible, and she was having a blast.
Logan was there as a football a small group leader. So he had a group of 4th, 5th, and 6th grade kids.
Yep.
And got to lead them. And so every night, after all these 2,300 people are together, then you also have like parents in that mix, right? So as the cars are coming in, you got 5,000, 6,000 people and cars. And so it's a lot of moving parts, but man, God allows us to, they get to come for the dessert, right? The sport or the art they're going to do, but man, they're staying for like the meat and the potatoes. And so we're unapologetic about preaching about Jesus and pointing our big verse. We always do a memory verse video. So it was the words of Jesus in John 3:17. A lot of people know John 3:16. You see it in football games. And for God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Whoever believes in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. But a lot of people forget about the very next verse, which is John 3:17. You could probably sing it, right?
I could.
If you want to go onto YouTube, if you're a watcher of YouTube,
I was just going to say that.
We called our group Surge and
Surge
Roses.
and Roses.
Camp is called Surge, and obviously Guns N' Roses.
So cool.
So, but anyway, we wrote a song and wrote it.
700-800 kids, because the big group's broken into 2.
And they
the
do it
younger
every
group and
night?
the older.
Every night.
And so I was with the 4th through 6th graders to hear whatever it was, 700-800 kids singing the song at the top of their lungs with the video every night.
It is cool. It is cool.
Hilarious. Adorable. I would ask them every night, what was your favorite part of big group? The song.
We kind of did a Blink 182 meets Guns N' Roses.
Oh, it was so good.
Homage to the mid-90s rock song. I wanted parents to be able to hear. So that verse says, Jesus didn't come to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. I think a lot of people feel like Christians and followers of Jesus just tell them what they can do and what they can't do and the things they're against. And Jesus, by his very own admittance, is like, no, I didn't come to condemn and to point. I came to save the world. And if we can get a generation of kids that are there just to love them like Jesus does, man, what a win that would be. So we had to break the camp into two a few years ago because it got too big. And so it's two different camps going on at the same time, which makes it even more moving parts.
It's so smooth.
What a blessing.
I
blessing.
don't doubt it. They've got it
unbelievable. All the moving parts, and it all is seamless.
But from the
so cool to be
communication to the small group, it's so cool to watch the small group leaders get to engage in just a group of 6 to 8 kids.
Yep.
So it makes this big camp feel very personal.
Yep.
They can pray together and open the Bible together. But from music videos to games to preaching, teaching, and it's a blessing.
Well, you sent me the video, and I'm literally driving. I was driving up to North Carolina, and I just turned it on, so I didn't get to watch it. But I turned it on, and I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Catchy.
And for those of you who haven't watched a lot of episodes, Brent, basically his philosophy of ministry, correct me if I'm wrong, is follow Jesus and have fun while you're doing it.
That's it.
And it is crazy fun. So that was good. Now, you are a small group leader at the camp, but what else has been going on in your world?
I'm in a season of totally being stretched. I've gotten an opportunity.
Like your wedding ring.
Or your body that's inside the wedding ring. Yeah.
No, it's just the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, my body, I'm going in the opposite direction.
Whoa.
Going back to my first episode on this show, I was 215, 16, 17 pounds, somewhere in there. I'm in the high 190s right now. Yes.
Whoa. That's crazy. What do you attribute that to?
Yes, starving myself.
Is it a food thing, or is it a workout thing, or is it both?
It's both.
It's both. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Congrats on doing that.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Surge helped. I was in the low 200s, and all of a sudden, I was in the
Sweating
high
and
190s. One morning in the middle of surge, I was 196. I was like, "Whoa!"
We got
I'm really moving.
A new weight loss program. Just come serve with us for a week. You'll lose weight left and right.
Yes,
no food and running.
I've got a really cool opportunity coming up next week, actually. Where I will be preaching 3 different sermons at another surge or rush light camp out in Colorado.
Nice.
Very cool.
It's a middle school camp, and so really excited about that, and very new for me. I've been a professional speaker for over 10 years, but I hesitate to even say the word preach. Just getting to unapologetically share God's word. Is new for me and very, very excited.
Yeah.
And
I got a professional speaker for Christmas last year. A little JBL. Yeah. It's I can Bluetooth into it. It's awesome. What a good little.
And he paid for it.
But you actually talk. You talk as a professional speaker.
I talk I'm a professional talker.
But it's interesting you said
chatter.
This is stretching you because you're used to talking in front of lots of people all the time, but not in this type of manner.
No.
A youth conference that you're going out to do.
And the weight, and it's a good weight, but the weight of I'm sharing the word of God.
Right?
Wow.
And I take that very seriously.
That's right. That's right.
And I don't want to do it wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Hey, I always tell people that are in the communication world, all you're doing, you're plagiarizing the words of God anyway. So you can't mess it up. If you're reading scripture and you're teaching it.
You told me that last week.
You're not going to mess
comforting.
it up. Yes. So you're plagiarizing the words of Jesus, and you can't go wrong while you do that.
But I'm brainstorming new illustrations and stories, and just whenever you're writing a new talk, as you guys know, you start to just go, okay, let me think through just the Rolodex in my brain. That was a term for you of experiences.
Rolodex. That's right.
Just experiences and stories and what could work. And I thought of this story that happened in my early 20s.
Now, have you done this story before?
I've never shared this story.
Okay, we're gonna workshop
early
this.
20s. Never told this story before. So many years ago. I'm ready.
I'm not going to use it in any of my upcoming talks. I just think there could be something.
So this is how the process works.
Yes, and so I wanted to workshop. I wanted to workshop this story with y'all. See if there's something there. If there's a way that you could make it funnier, if there's a illustration, a point,
I like
analogy.
I love this because this is the way it really works.
This is the process.
Yeah. Actually, a lot of times this stuff happens behind the camera while we're having coffee and
100%.
eating food, and all.
Yes.
So it's fun to do it.
So
on
this
the
is
camera.
like the inside scoop. So tell the story however you want.
Let me just look at our audience real quick, or at your listening ears if you're just listening. As Brent would call them, your listening ears.
Visually.
This story might be terrible. But that is how the process works. You have to throw mud at the wall.
We hope
Sometimes
you're
it works,
subscribed to
sometimes
us
it doesn't.
as you listen to the
So
worst
you're in your
story you've
early
ever
20s.
Early 20s, middle of the night. I wake up. I've got 2 roommates at the time. One of them's out of town. We live in a little old house that we're renting, and smoke alarms are going off. And
Not fire alarms, smoke alarms.
fire alarms. Sure, smoke alarms, fire alarms.
I get it. I don't know how that.
I guess
Carbon
in
monoxide
a house,
detector.
isn't it normally a smoke alarm?
Yeah, it's a
Fire,
smoke alarm.
smoke.
It detects
Why are they
smoke.
called fire? Is it not called a fire alarm? Fire alarm goes off. Smoke detector detects.
Smoke.
Is that what it is?
I think the fire alarm is the one you pull.
is a fire alarm, but doesn't it make a noise because it's an alarm? Woo, woo, right? Yeah.
Okay, when you're telling the story, don't do this part.
Yeah, this part.
I love this story. I think we're done. Thank you for sharing that, Logan. Next week,
It was
you're going
really
to find
good
out.
until he interrupted it.
Sorry, I was confused.
I don't know what it is. We'll workshop that. Smoke
Okay.
alarm, fire alarm, whatever.
Maybe smoke detector, fire
Detector.
alarm. Let's go that.
A detection alarm is going off.
Whiteboard.
Something is happening. I wake up and I am so calm. I'm just like overly calm. And I'm like, there's a fire in the house. And I go walking downstairs. I'm looking around and I don't see anything. And my roommate wakes up and he's like, what's going on? You know, he freaks out. And we sit down on the couch. And I said, I'll call 911. I'm just real relaxed, not worried at all. There's nothing going on, but we'll call them. Just say, hey, you know, there's this alarm going off in my house. There's no fire. There's no smoke. I have no idea what's going on. She said, sir, that is your carbon monoxide alarm going off. Are you still in the house? I said, yeah, I'm just sitting on the couch.
I'm totally chill.
Dying a slow death.
because I'm about to pass out.
Because I am high on carbon monoxide and don't realize
That's why
it.
you're so chill.
Yes, and I'm just getting more and more relaxed. And she goes, okay, well, you need to get out of the house. I said, okay, we'll get out of the house. I hang up. What did she say? My roommate. What did she say? What did she say? I said, it's carbon monoxide. She said, we need to get out of the house.
You're all about to die.
And I'm sinking into the couch. I
But
said,
I'm going
"They're
to
on
take
the
a
way."
nap first.
I said,
Before I go outside.
I said, I think if you just open the door, we'll be good. And he said, no, we need to get out of the house, Logan. And he jumps up and he runs out the front door. I said, I'll be out in a minute. And I'm just sinking into the couch,
What?
just totally relaxed. And in my brain at the time, this just made complete sense. He ends up running back in and has to drag me out of the house. I could hardly stand up at this point.
We're on the edge of our seats here. I just have to know.
Did I live?
Did you make it?
I made it. I made it.
Okay, then continue.
He dragged me outside. I'm outside for 30 seconds and my head gets clear and I go,
What just
oh
happened?
my gosh. What was I doing? He said, that's what I'm wondering. Why weren't you worried at all? I said, I have no idea. I was just relaxed. I don't know. Is that the effect of carbon monoxide or what?
Interesting.
But my thought is, I don't know what to do with that story, but I think there's something there. And my mind immediately goes a couple of different directions. Number one would be the silent killers in our lives that we may be blind to or are allowing or are justifying, you know, don't do the big sins, don't make the big bad decisions, but what small choices am I making that could be hurting me and are compounding over time? And I'm not realizing I'm sitting on the couch relaxed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Living in this bad decision, gossip being one of them is the first one that comes to mind. Maybe you're a habitual gossiper. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But that's killing you and it's killing relationships over time. And then the other direction I could go with that is just having someone in your life that when you're in trouble and maybe you don't even recognize it, that can
pull you out.
That can pull you out.
Okay, I got a thought on it too.
So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay,
Break it down.
This is just a random thought as we're here. Spitballing.
Spitballing.
Somebody always says throwing pasta against the wall and seeing what sticks. noodles at the wall and
what
see what sticks.
I like that better than throwing mud at the
so
wall.
there's so many things you can throw at the wall. But what if
I'm going to throw the fire detector at the wall.
the carbon monoxide detector? I'm going to throw the batteries from the carbon monoxide detector at the wall. So my thought to that was how you didn't notice the effects of it at first, right?
Yeah.
So you're just slowly. It reminds me of that analogy of the frog in the hot boiling water.
Yes,
if you were to put a frog in water that was already boiling, boing, they're going to jump right out. But if you're going to sit there and set the frog in there, somehow he's going to stay and slowly turn the temperature up. He doesn't realize it because his body's adapting, changing until he dies, right?
Yeah, you'll boil him to death.
Is there things engaged in our society or things we're hearing all the time that we're normalizing now and we're getting used to it now? And before long, you're like, wow, I'm so far from God's word and what he has given a clear, direct path for humanity that I didn't realize I've been going down this path slowly. Like the Amy Grant song says back in the 90s, takes a little time to turn the Titanic around, right? You can't just, there's the iceberg, right? You got to slowly tick it. Takes a little time. I've never heard that song. Nope. Turn the Titanic around. Anyway.
It's before he was born.
Yeah, that's a good point. Duly noted. He was in the middle of a death on the carbon monoxide detector when this came out.
Yeah.
But that's where it goes to me is like, wow, the slow, small things that we might be starting to do or choosing to do, we don't even realize it's pulling us farther and farther away from our relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Not our salvation, but our relationship.
Yeah.
The one that hits me was when you shared a couple weeks ago on another episode was the rowing.
Yeah.
You weren't doing anything. And yet this is happening.
Yeah.
And if I'm not rowing in a specific direction and if I'm not listening for alarms, which the truth can be, if I start drifting and it's not intentional, it's just passive. If I'm not actively making sure the batteries are in the deal, whatever we're going to call it, then I can fade away. I can drift. I think that's what, and I think you can leave it as just hanging out there. Like people listening to that story right now, what in your life have you just decided to sweep under the rug?
That's good.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to come back to bite you and that's what's going to kill you in the long run.
And as we're doing this, if you guys out there are listening and watching, man, leave a comment. That could help Logan kind of shape what he's doing.
Absolutely.
So if you're watching, listening,
story? Was it garbage? Did you like it? How could we work on it?
No, I think there's so many great
better. I
pieces.
like it. I think it's pretty cool. I think you could work that into something. If it's if you're talk to middle schoolers or if it's a professional group that you're talking to, or if it's our audience here, every day's a bonus. Up to you. But hey, guys, we got to stop now. We can't keep going. We've got to end it because our workout is out. Our commute is done. We've reached our destination.
It's already been 25 minutes.
I know. I'm so sorry. But we're going to stop it now. Listen, takeaway from today. One quick sentence takeaway. What would you guys say that you can walk away from today with?
You go first.
Listen to the alarms of truth.
Whoa.
What?
Way to drop that microphone.
I don't want to add one.
Way to drop that microphone. Man, hey, how about this? Everybody's busy and everybody's life is so real and so personal. Make sure you just come together, share with someone what you're going through, and you'll find stories that could be helpful in life. You're going to find encouragement from a barbecue restaurant on the side of the road to a Sharpie exploding everywhere on your feet. Just listen to your friends and listen. Don't just hear it, but listen. Right there. So, hey, we love you all.
Johnny's
Hopefully,
mom,
you'll join us next week again as we are back with a brand new episode. And always remember, we're not promised tomorrow, but remember that every day
is a bonus.
See you next time.
It was a bad setup.
That was Logan.